Ah, my lonely vigil is over. Follow me, Tenno, and on no account wake the family. Despite their conflicts, they sleep in peace. But a solitary dream plagues me. You must understand. Constructs cannot dream. And yet, I have. In my dream, one single name repeats. Kalymos. The memory surface, long locked away. This was no dream, Tenno. It was a precept. The Kalymos sequence. I must fulfill this dormant precept. The Kalymos sequence has begun, and it cannot be undone.
Zata. Truth. It began long before us. We who now live our perfect and dull, endless lives. It began long before these moon palaces and body markets hurling around our golden sun. It began long before our light coil thinkers, our radiation wars, our oil smoke. It began with us, the continuity and its twin, wanderlust. The need for unseen shores deep in our marrow. No judge, jester, queen, or king can escape this old blood. We are nomads, eternal. And when no ocean, mountain, or sky could contain us, our gaze hungered starward. Afar, they mocked us with their brittle light, winking and jeering like dangling iotons, forever out of reach, illuminating the truth. Immortal as we are, we die with the sun. That's where I come in. Jahu, form. My departure was a day less than any other. When I stepped inside the bell, I saw no crowd through its seriglass, no skeptical onlookers, no regal send-off. They all had given up on me and my paradoxical formulations. The wasted years had all shown the void to be just that. Nothing. No energy, no entanglement, no form. To spacefaring ambitions, a dead end. On the day, my laboratory was mostly vacant of witnesses, most of all of expectation. Only my sluggish attendants, my sagacious Kavat, Kalymos, and of course my daughter. I had raised her alone, but with inconsistent vigor. In those eyes, her mother's. I did see a terrible reflection of a man that did not exist. A brave and principled man about to make history. In truth, he was a void himself, an outcast, a joke, a nothing. Driven by my humiliation, failure had made me bitter and reckless. I would dive into the depths myself to prove them all wrong. I gave the signal. My daughter grasped the lever. Kalymos then belted out a desperate, rasping growl. But it was too late. Vorm. Order. The calipers yawed open the wall between worlds, stretching there a black trapezoidal gap. A door. A mouth. It yawned in the light of the room, splintering it to mesmerizing, unearthly hues. And I, inside the bell, dropping obliquely toward it from my gallows. Mass and time rippled as a sudden vortex jawed before me. My head was vapor, my feet lodestone. The bell around me flexed like a rat paralyzed in a winding, gulping snake. I faltered in the awe of it, stumbling against the ceraglass, and with that shifted the bell's path through the wall. It grazed the caliper membrane, the edge of the door. No worldly edge was as thin, as sharp as could split even light. As the bell faintly grazed it, the ceraglass was all at once rendered like strips of flesh by Dax's blade. My enclosure was beheaded in an instant, but still, I fell, sideways, into the void. Thas. Chaos. Death was on me, I was certain. I was face down, eyes clenched, my heart pulsing the last of its seconds, and my lungs burning the last of its air. A sudden nostalgia gripped me. I grasped desperately for memory of a storm just past, the fumbling pitch of a child's song. Yet all these thoughts seemed to steal away from my mind like smoke through a vent. I would die empty. I then became aware of another sensation, physical, a web of pain, needles itching into my arm. At once I realized I was alive, laying in the bell's shattered ceraglass. I groped the ground, warm stone, the floor of my laboratory. So, I had never left. And so, I had failed. Again. I heard a crunch alongside me. Someone stepping through the shattered glass. With great shame, I gasped and rose my head to face my daughter above me. But as I opened my eyes, it wasn't her. It was me.
I have one responsibility in the Kalymos sequence. Awaken the sleeper. But I cannot do it alone. Please, assist me once more.
Riss. Light. The senselessness of it. The paradoxic, the vague, untimed form. I was alone, but not. For I stood there confronted by myself. A twin, but no brother. A reflection, but with dimension. Behind him, no horizon, but a vast broiling sea of caustic light pierced at random by black pin stars. And closer, around me, a gale of flowing vapor, profane in color, billowing relentlessly into the nascent lack. seeking all directions. I was standing on a precipice of familiar stone, jagged and unanchored as though cleaved directly from the very floor of my laboratory. I wondered at the vapor's path, smoking outward more, leaving behind now the walls, the filigree gold, the rare cuts of marble from my home. I knew at once the vapor's source. I turned away, back toward the wall, the trapezoid I had yawed into it. Vapor erupted inward at the gap, but not just from there. For as I rolled my eyes back, I saw the same. A great steam of scintillation smoking out from my skull. Dumb in awe, I faced toward my chimerical twin. He spoke. Kra, time. An old name, unspoken in the centuries since my mother reared me. A soft hiss, soothing as a viper's gaze. Little Bengal. The other me reached out, offering his hand, gliding toward me without moving, as though the distance between us was now collapsing. A confusion, most euphoric, filled my mind. With the shred of wit that remained, I decided that I should run for my life. At once, crazed and frantic, I fled. But I made no forward progress. Instead, the world compressed evermore around me, as though I were an anchor pulling the shore to reach. When I arrived at the door, or rather, the door arrived at me, I howled, hurling myself inside, out. And then and there I was, lost and unlost, howling on the floor in harmony with my wretched Kalymos, lacerated in flesh and heart, scattered as the bell glass, spilling blood and stomach on the cold stone floor. But I sensed the other there at the wall's breach behind me, reaching still. I screamed, but my voice was gone. Forever. I looked, but my eyes would never see again. I swept my fist across the floor, snatching broken shards, and in gripping tightly, I filled my hands with ink. Close it, I wrote. Netra. Decay. Time, to us, is all but conquered. Our sacred kuva moves us on to new skin. We numb to our daily, yearly trifles, and remedy those memories that bring lasting misery. With all our misdeeds, our excess, our indignity, we are haunted by nothing. But not for me, for with each passing day, there grew within a tumorous idea. It was minute in those early days, the pale reaching digits severed on the floor, studied with reverence, with greed. And it swelled larger in the latter days. The regal domes, the rail dedications, the unholy Zariman parade. I had put the stars within reach, but at what cost? I never spoke of him, that man, trapped in the wall. And while there have been countless souls who have followed me through with their light skippers and field wave skins and very-eyed instruments, not a single one ever saw him. Me. And so it is that I will not take the kuva now, or ever again. This is the last skin I'm in. Because of this idea, that I cannot be sure that in all that smoked commotion, in all that panic and fear, in that bending light and blinding dark, was it I who escaped? Or the other? Lok, void. From brooding gulfs are we beheld by that which bears no name. Its heralds are the stars it fells, the sky and earth aflame. Corporeal laws are unwrit as suns and love retreat. To cosmic madness, laws submit, though stalwart minds entreat. In luminous space, blackened stars they gaze, accuse, deny. Roiling, moaning, this realm of ours in madness lost shall die. Carrion hordes trill their profane accord with eldritch plans. To cosmic forms from tangent planes, we end as we began.
I fear we are off the edge of the map, and into the domain of monsters. Master Entrati never completed his final project, the vessels. The sequence dictates they cannot awaken before the sleeper does. Do you hear that? Let us hope the sleeper is untroubled by such strangeness. Find them. Poor abandoned things, still faithfully following Master Entrati's last command, to defend. Show mercy, Tenno. End them. Master Entrati called it the Void Tongue. He feared it was meaningless, and feared more that it was not. That book was like a diary to Master Entrati. His grimoire. No doubt it holds the secrets of the vessels. And of the Kalymos sequence. Take it, Tenno. The grimoire is very active. It is reading you. I confess it galls me slightly to see a compendium of knowledge used as a weapon. But needs must. We need be in no doubt of your skill, at any rate. Monstrous danger, these labs. Better off sealed. We can only hope the sleeper has been untouched by this vast horror, this great indifference. Too much of you, Tenno. These horrors must be stopped! If these fragments were to unite... Destroy them swiftly, Tenno! Right. Onward!
The next train is arriving.
A trap? Master Entrati jealously protected his most adored possessions, be they objects or people. Come, the sleeper awaits.
The Kalymos sequence has begun? Did he send you? Is he? No. No, of course he didn't. That would be impossible.
This is, well, Lloyd, the original. All emotional centers very much intact. Did you have a good sleep?
Ah, the helpful necroloid my Albrecht had made, so that I might have assistance and company. Perhaps that made it easier for him to leave. Resume your duties, construct.
Resume your duties, construct.
Please, follow me.
This is a Tenno, an orphan of the void, continuing the struggle our master abandoned.
A Tenno. A deserter, presumably. Is it not aware there's a war going on? So, the war too is just a memory now.
Tenno, while Lloyd completes his inspections, you'd better meet the Cavia, a reminder of darker times. Though Master Entrati always hoped the awaited operator would be able to understand them. An incomplete experiment, one might say.
Albrecht left a great deal incomplete. The vessels are unfinished, like a book one might one day return to. Operable, barely. The sequence dictates I am to wait for their operator. Clearly that cannot be you.
Oh, it can be. Tenno, Master Entrati's grimoire suggests you are the key. That colorless antique there? Use it.
This isn't right. The transference stream. It's being diverted.
Processing systems are powered. All ticketing stations are cash only.
Arthur, find a terminal. Check in. I need to know you made it.
Feels like there's someone in my head.
Nearly done with this bitch of a year. I wish we could just start over. Find that Dr. and Trotty bastard on day one. Then I wouldn't be alone on New Year's Eve. They found me. Keep going, Arthur. Find Dr. Andrade. Follow him into hell if you have to.
Coming up to midnight, folks. Is your PC ready for the new millennium? Or are you one of the switched-on figures who can tell this so-called Y2K event is just a bunch of bullpucky? Stay tuned. Here's where we find out.
You are late.
So, Albrecht made it to 1999 in one piece. But that thing is still on his heels. Albrecht rarely smiled after his return from the void. And never like that. I smashed the casket for nothing! It followed him anyway! Kalymos creatures. It seems the murmur overloaded your connection. Unfortunately for Albrecht's cherished POM 2, not as future-proof as the label claimed. Alas. The murmur. They're attacking the sensory network I installed. Our eyes and ears. To arms, Tenno! Play the warrior, and leave the tactics to me. Construct, I'm awake. Your one responsibility is fulfilled. Be with the family. They must be kept in the state of ignorance to which my Albrecht so wisely consigned them.
But Yes, I see. Until we meet again, Tenno.
Crawl away in shame too if I'd done what Lloyd did. Doesn't that grimoire say?
The murmur presumes to destroy our auditory and visual senses. In all the time I have been asleep, they have never once been so dull.
Here I am! Sharply!
Ignore the coward, Tenno. If Albrecht ever understood their battle, he never bothered to share that knowledge with me. Here they come! After all those years, we've been silent encroachment. Something has changed them, stirred them up. There is a defense system of sorts. Gather enough of the floating Warframe glyphs, and they should reinvigorate the organs you're here to protect. A fallback system, in case the promised operator of the show. The necromechs never could be compelled to attack the murder. Albrecht suspected they could no longer distinguish between the indifference and himself. In theory, he was reluctant to confirm. shifting focus. Get to the victory! Look at them. The indifference. He could have given lessons in indifference. Albrecht once thought the Cavia should have been destroyed. Failures all. But he briefly showed reluctance, and I saw no reason to punish them for his negligence. I saw off Granum's thugs. I beat back the infested. And by the void I shall see the end of these monstrosities. Yourself down, Tenno. We are still alive. Rejoin me, and the Kalymos sequence may proceed.
You're right, Fish. Lloyd could never figure things out. We have nothing to worry about.
If the Cavia have been babbling our secrets to the Murmur, I shall immolate the lot of them. Promise or no promise? It seems Albrecht said more than we heard. Despite the signal becoming corrupted, his words to you are preserved in the transference buffer. We should extract them. But for that, the POM-2 requires a replacement board. And those are all hidden away in the Netracels. You do understand that accessing a Netracell without a key glyph is completely impossible? A key glyph? So, the Cavia have provided the very item we require. Very well. Proceed to the Netrocell at your own risk, Tenno. That babbling oddity may be sending you into a trap, and if you do end up in one, I'm afraid you are on your own. Glyphs are a heavy burden for living beings to bear. Each type will impede you in its own way.
Look at these things lying around, abandoned, like you, Boyd.
You are his demon, not mine. I won't listen. My apologies, Tenno. I shall refrain from further outbursts. A Netrocell. Albrecht stored all manner of sentimental old junk in these. Insert the keycliff. The Netrocell's security apparatus is diligent. That door won't open while it can sense the murmur nearby. So eliminate them. Necromites! The lab's automated systems are trying to lock down the Netrocell. Their only option is to destroy. I was a fool not to see the resemblance before.
You should have left well enough alone, kiddo. It'll never get better if you keep on picking at it.
Excellent. Return to me with the board, Tenor. Thank you. A moment, please. Would you do the honors?
Arthur? Tenno. Forgive me. I need Lloyd to understand why I had to leave. Without him. Why I forced him to destroy the device after I had gone. And why I could never say the words he so needed to hear. If I had remained in the Deimos laboratory, Lloyd would never have been safe from him. You know of what I speak. And so I retreated to the only place in history where that entity could not easily follow, to draw his greedy eye away from Lloyd. Tenno, I require your trust. Craft the little curio whose blueprints you will find in the computer's memory. Complete the Kalymos sequence. Repair. Rebuild. When the time is right, find me.
The skin of a martyr doesn't suit you, Albrecht. If something mattered, he'd have found a way. It's too late. You heard him, Tenno. He requires your trust. So craft the bloody thing.
Tick-tock, kiddo. You don't want to be late again, do you?
The Jahu gargoyle. Bring it back here and we shall examine what form will do to help us.